Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Kevin's Upfront Opinion today. So, today, what I thought I'd speak about is in regards to a previous video I did recently when I did a video about does Keir Starmer need another restart? And it boiled down to his former chief political strategist who resigned, I think it was back in September, who said, where he's doing so badly, he needs to do another restart. I thought, oh, this is interesting. Right on New Year and everything, another restart. Could Keir actually think of doing something like that? So I did the video about it, basically rubbishing it, because fundamental thing in my view is he needs to listen to the people. Because as Eddie Hall said in a podcast with Rob Moore, Eddie Hall said the reason why Donald Trump is such a better leader and president to Keir Starmer is he listens to the people. He knows what the people want, and by what the people want, he delivers what they want. Whether he thinks it's right or not, it's what the people want, and he's there to serve the people. Now, that's what Eddie Hall said. And to a degree, I 100% agree with him, as much as that burns me to say, because I don't generally like Eddie Hall. And then I thought, right, let's take a look at some of the messages that we've been sent. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through a few of these messages. So I'm just going to bring this over. Okay, so as you can see, up in the top left-hand corner, we'll get rid of my ugly mug. Okay, as you can see, this is the actual video. So what we're going to have a look at some of the people who commented. Now, I always try to comment on every single message that I get sent. Obviously, I can't always do it. Now, the first one, which was a couple of days ago, I can't believe I'm going to read this out. One particular person says that she believes he needs to drop dead. Now, I would personally say there's a lot of people in the country would actually agree with that. I'm not going to say that I personally think that is the case, but that's her personal view, and it's not for me to argue against that. Now, the next person, well, I haven't responded to this, said that he needs a very long jail sentence. Now, I don't know personally what you could chuck him in jail for. I think the only thing that there's an argument for is maybe the Lucy Connolly thing and the other people that went to jail, because there were people put in jail that should have never been put in jail, and they never got due process, not proper due process at the end of the day. So I think there's an argument for that, but other than that, there isn't really anything you could actually think of chucking them in jail for. So next one. I think this is a bit harsh. Keir Starmer does not need a reset but to resign. Now, I can't say that a lot of people are going to disagree with that, because there's a lot of calls for him to resign, and that is going to be getting heavier, especially if we do have the May elections. Obviously, we've got one person here who's actually said, are you insane to actually think he needs jailing? Personally, he hasn't actually committed a crime. As far as I'm aware, somebody can come up with something, tell me a crime he's actually committed since he's been in power. Maybe morally he's committed moral crimes, but no physical, actual crimes at the end of the day. Then we go up. Blair built Starmer human rights law that became PM. Blair's legacy needs dismantling, and the child of that project needs to go. Starmer is just the wrong man for that job. Now, when you come to this, there's been a lot of people in politics that have been talking about this. Okay, and it's hard to actually argue. Now, one of the chief people that's been banging on this drum is Liz Truss, because as she said after being booted out of office, is the problem is politicians can't actually do anything. You know, Starmer can't do anything, and the classic example is when the Conservatives wanted to do the Rwanda thing, and obviously all that happened was they got taken to court. You could look at Brexit. What happened? Civil service and people were taking the government to court to stop them from doing Brexit. Okay. The argument is that a lot of the times that MPs who are in cabinet can't actually do their job and do what they're actually asked to by the people because of the people behind the scenes. Whether people want to believe it or not, that is the argument. You know, because the classic one is the way Liz Truss lost her job. You know, the Bank of England have openly admitted it was their fault, but she lost her job at the end of the day because they did nothing about the markets and they just wanted rid of her at the end of the day. You know, so you could argue that Tony Blair is to blame for this. Is he solely to blame? That's an argument for another day at the end of the day. But if you want MPs to be accountable, you need to get rid of a lot of the rules and a lot of the institutions that Tony Blair put in there back in the day. Like, for instance, the Bank of England not being accountable for anybody but themselves. So that would be the classic one. And then it's basically people saying, no, he needs to leave and the Labour Party need to go. No, he wants a good shoe-in. Starmer and Labour need to go. The best reset would be a general election. Now, the reality is a general election is not going to happen. And people can keep on setting up petitions and everything, calling for a general election. It's not going to happen. You know, because the reality is, why would he call one now? He's going to lose his job. Labour are going to take a massive beating. Why would he do that? You know, when he doesn't need to have another general election until 2029. He ain't got to have one for 3 years. So why on earth would Keir Starmer call for a general election? He's not stupid at the end of the day. You know, so this is the reality. So these are some of the messages or the comments that have come in. Obviously, please do give your comments and tell me what you personally think. You know, if you think on occasions I'm talking absolute codswallop and you don't agree with me, that's fine. I've got no problem with that. Just put it in the comments. That's fair enough. And I'll try and respond to everybody's comments as and when I can at the end of the day. But for now, thanks for watching. Let us know what you think of some of these people's comments. But for now, thanks for watching, and we'll speak to you again a bit later.